Hey guys, welcome back to CheatSheetPros.com. Today is June 1st. I wanted to get an MLB cheat sheet update over my break, so I'm going to go over these changes with you. Again, CheatSheetPros.com is your source for sports betting, player props, prize picks, and daily fantasy information. We're ramping up our videos in 2023, so make sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter if you just want to see some free shit, because we post a lot of picks and same-game parlays up there. Our Twitter is CheatSheetPros. You can try our cheat sheets for free on Thursday in our free Facebook group. The link is in the description, so feel free to check them out. So let's go ahead and get started. So this last Memorial Day weekend, I had some time off. I went out of town for a few days, but I worked on a bunch of updates. So we're going to get a new version of the MLB cheat sheet that was posted today on June 1st. So I want to kind of run over that with you. So over here, we got our tabs. I'm not going to go over each one individually. Those are on prior videos. I'm just going to go through and show you some of the changes and the benefits of those changes. So over here on the main tab, we had some people that wanted to see some overall records with home road splits. So I went ahead and I added those here. I just slid this down where if you get into a little bit more information, you can dig into this. But for example, Colorado, here's a perfect example. At home, they're 15-14 with a 52% win percentage. On the road, they're 9-19. They only win 32% of the time. So we put the records there so you can see home road splits. More to come on that. Over here on the stacker tab, I believe we already had the time slot in there, but if not, that was added in not too long ago. The prize picks tab is pretty much the same. We didn't make a lot of changes to those. I did add another column in there. I believe it was pitching outs was one that wasn't pulling through, so we updated and added that for our prize picks tab. Over here, this is the new pitchers tab. I'm going to go over that in detail. I'm going to do that here in a minute. Over here, I brought the time slot in so we can filter out the slates. One of the most frustrating things for me is I would go through and I'd be looking at props at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then just come to find out those players, that game started at 1 o'clock and I missed it. So again, that was a great idea to bring the time slot in. So I brought that in several places. Over here on the betting board, I did make a few changes. Over here, you can see there's a new category now. We have warm, cold, and hot. So for example, Cincinnati has scored 5, 9, 8, 8, and 9 runs over the last 5 games. So they are going to be a hot team. Warm is someone who they're scoring a lot of runs, but the last couple just hasn't been as good. For example, they've got some 1s and 0s in here. They fall down to warm. But if they've got, I forget what the exact parameter is, but several games over 4 to 5 runs, they go into the hot category. So Cincinnati would definitely be one of them. And we also have cold. But on this short 7-game slate today, we don't have any cold players. Another thing I brought in is the opponent K rank. So I didn't want to bring in the actual strikeout percentage because that's confusing for a lot of people. So I just wanted to bring in the opponent team that this pitcher is facing, what their strikeout rank is. A good example was yesterday. Hunter Brown and Mitch Keller just exploded off of the sheet. I know that was in some of the parlays that I had posted. So to give you an example, here's a perfect look at a play today. So Kevin Gausman, we have all of his stats here. So his last 2 starts, he has 8 Ks against Minnesota, 4 Ks in his prior start. But he's going up against a team in Milwaukee who strikes out at the 28th highest percent. So they are a high strikeout team. So this would be a good K prop to look at for Gausman. Now Peralta, if you were looking at him and you said, hey, 4 Ks, that's not good, but let's pretend it was higher. You'd say, well, the other team doesn't strike out very much, so maybe that's a play that I shy away from. And then just scrolling down here, looking at this sheet, I see 30th. So Minnesota strikes out at a huge clip. That's why we were on Hunter Brown at plus money yesterday. Well, Tanner Bibby, I'm not familiar with him, but he's got 9 Ks against St. Louis, but then 3 Ks in his prior start, and he's going up against a team with huge strikeout potential. So that would be something that I would dig into a little bit more and see if that is a play that I do like. So I liked bringing this in here because it helps me just kind of grab everything. I also brought in on this column the home road split. So the top team is always the road team. The bottom team is always the home team if you're not familiar with sports. So this is going to be the home record because this is for the home team, and this is going to be the road record for the road team. So you can just see what that split is, and then We still had the last 10 in there, but I wanted to bring that split in. So here you can see the Mets are 14-9 at home, Phillies 11-20 on the road, 11-20. So that gives you a good little split. So we added a little bit of information there for you. So the 3 new things over here, we added the team indicator, the opponent strikeout rate, and then the home road split over here on our betting board. This is the first place I go to kind of figure out which games I want to look into a little bit further. I'm going over here to the X Factor tab. I don't believe anything changed on this, but I'm working on something new that I'm going to show you here in a minute. It's like this, but it has drop-down menus, so you can see all the different stats for the pitchers and all the different stats for the hitters, and I'll show you that. It's kind of in the works. It's hidden in the background. Over here on the leaderboard tab, I brought in the time slot again, just so we can filter out the time. And I think that was it on this one. So let's go back to the pitching tab. So the pitching tab, this is the newest of the tabs, and let me try to blow this up a little bit and make it easier for you to see. So let's go view, zoom, say 125. All right, that should be a little bit bigger on the screen. And again, if you're having trouble viewing this video, in the bottom right hand corner there should be a drop down for video quality. Look for, I believe it's 720p or 1080p, or there's an HD version that uploads about an hour after I put the video up. So make sure you're doing that so you can get the best one. So again, there's only 7 games today, but before we had the hitters tab, and then the pitchers were in all these other tabs, so I didn't really do a specific tab for them. But the problem that I wanted to solve is when I'm playing DFS and I want to find the pitchers I want to use, or I look at a lot of these pitcher props, and Prize Picks has some cool ones, so you can do strikeouts, earned runs allowed. DraftKings has some hits allowed. Pitching outs we've seen pop up a lot more on Prize Picks. The one that I absolutely love on DraftKings is, will this pitcher record a win, yes or no? So I was like, all right, I want a column I can look at and say, hey, how many wins do they have? So for example, Framber Valdez has 3 wins in his last 4 starts. So I would be curious to see what his odds are for him to score or record a win. Chris Sale, he's got 4 wins recorded in his last 5 starts. He'd be another one I'd want to look at. And I love taking no on these shitbag players like Detmers. Loss, no decision, loss, no decision, loss. Yes, it's like minus 300, but once you put 3 or 4 of them together, it's plus money, and it's just too easy to look at. So this is going to be something. Some of these guys, you have to be careful if you're looking at this, because some of them might throw out of the bullpen, or they might just be in a starter role. So you want to look back and look at the game log and just see, how many innings have they pitched, what's, going on, the different scenarios such as that. And you can even sort it. I just did a little counter tab over here for wins recorded. I actually love this, and it got so long I had to bring the names back over. So I brought the names over here so you could see these last 4 columns with the pitcher name next to it. And again, walks allowed, that was one I've kind of dabbled with a little bit. And you can even sort that to see who's allowing a large amount of walks or not very many walks. I've seen some props on DK for that. And then home runs allowed. We love doing the home run prop. So the one thing that I wanted to find out is we do a lot of research on pitchers like, hitters like Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso. These guys are just hitting bombs like every 3 or 4 games they have a home run or 2. I wanted to find the pitchers that are giving up a lot of home runs. So for example, Chase Anderson, he's only given up 1 home run in 5 starts. So that might be a guy maybe we shy away from. But then if you go over to, let me see who's this, to Pablo Lopez, who's a good pitcher, he's given up 2, 0, 3, 1, 1, 1 home runs. So maybe that's a pitcher you go after. The likelihood of him giving up a home run is higher than someone like Chase Anderson. So this will kind of point us in the right direction of pitchers that maybe we want to take a home run prop against or avoid, or even someone you want to use for DFS. Find someone that's not going to give up the long ball. So this is a fun column to look at. Over here, pitching outs, Hunter Brown was a good one yesterday. I think Prize Picks and DK had him at 15.5 or 16.5, and his average was like 21 something, so he was way over. And again, you can sort this by average, high to low, and say, okay, well, who's throwing the most pitching outs? So Framber Valdez averages 20.1, and you can see his recent starts, 18, 27, had a low in there, 24, 18, 21, 21. So like if his prop number is 16.5 or 17.5 today, that'd be one I'd probably take an over, as long as the team wasn't like the Yankees or something. And then some of these ones down here, like Zach Davies, he's been getting pelted. He might have been throwing out of the bullpen, so keep an eye on that. Same with Chase Anderson. These 6 and 9, I'd want to know why it was only 6 or 9. So he's typically 15, 20, 15, kind of all over the place. I'm assuming his prop's going to be somewhere around 15.5. So I'd probably stay away from that one. But some of these, I'll get out of here. Like Tanner Bibby, the last 3, 18, 18, 26. You know, that's going to give you a little bit more indication of someone that can go a little bit longer in the game, which is great for DFS. Hits allowed I brought in here. I haven't dabbled with it a lot, but that's one of the 3 pitcher props they typically put up on DraftKings if you're doing a same game parlay. So I can come over here and say, hey, you know, which pitcher's giving up the most hits? So whoever the hell this is, 7-6-5-7-7-5-8, Jesus, that is a ton of hits. So Luzardo. So that would be a same game parlay. I would take whatever they probably have like hits allowed over 4 or hits allowed over 5, hits allowed over 6 for plus money. Well, that'd be one I would probably look at with his track record. And then a low one over here. So we've got 1 of 8, but 4, 1, 0, 2. If he's not thrown out of the bullpen and he was a starter in those games, that's one I would definitely look at. But you can sort this high to low and just kind of get an idea of where we want to target for same game parlays. Same thing with earned runs. You know, we want to know what pitcher's giving up a bunch and which one isn't. When we break these down, so, oh, that's hits. Scroll back over there. So earned runs, we have 4, 2, 5, 1, 2, 6, 5. So that's someone that's prone to give up a bunch. So that's Pablo Lopez. Scrolling down here, 3, 0, 4, 3. That's Taijuan Walker. So he's prone to giving up. So usually the earned run prop's like 2.5. So if he's done it in 3 or 4 games, that's usually one I would dig into, maybe look at an over. Here's one, Detmers, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. So he's giving up a bunch of earned runs. And then you come down here like Chase Anderson. He's had some really good starts. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, but 1, 2, 0, 0, 0. That's not too bad. And then look at this one. So, oh, that's Max Scherzer, 1, 0, 1. So you could take an under on him. He had that one bad start right after the sticky substance deal. But other than that, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. That's pretty good for an under. And then strikeouts, everybody knows what those are. You can kind of look here, sort this high to low, find the high strikeout pitchers. So Gausman has the highest average, followed by Hunter Green, Framber, and Lopez. So those would be your top 4. But I like to look at the recent logs and see what they did. So Gausman, 8, 4, 10, 9. So over these last 4, and he's got a good matchup today. We just saw a team that's striking out at a high clip with 8, 10, and 9 in 3 of the last 4. You could take 7+ on DK or 8+ and probably get plus money if you want to sprinkle that in there. And if you're just strictly playing DFS, you can come over here and look at the projections. You can say, okay, look at the projected value based on the salary. This is our DraftKings corner. This is our FanDuel corner. And then if you want to just see the last 7 average, what the value is and compare, you can say, okay, Chris Sale is last 7. He's been one of the best valued pitchers. And then Hunter Green. So I'd probably look at these two. They've been averaging over the last 7 starts the best value based on their salary today. So if I was playing this, I guess it's the night slate, 610, you could get Sale for $7,900 and Hunter Green for $7,100. And then that would give you some fade off the what's going to be popular, Framber Valdez, and then Kevin Gausman, who's 98 and 10.6. So it kind of points you in a little bit different direction to take something less chalky. Detmers is a high upside strikeout pitcher, but he's been getting pounded. I always like Lopez. Bibby, we've looked at some of his stats. He's been pretty good. That's someone you could consider at only 73. But again, that's how I break it down. You can do the same thing for FanDuel, but I love this pitching mound tab. Now, let me show you. Let me slide down here so I can get it opened up. All right, so let me blow this up again for you. So this is one, I don't know if this is beneficial for everybody or not, but it's something that I was working on before I made the pitcher tab. I kind of thought maybe the pitcher tab was just easier to have that in there with that broken down. but this is something I've kind of worked on in the background that I wanted to show you. So it's a same game parlay tab, and it's just like our X Factor tab over here. It's got the same format, except for we have 2 drop downs. So this drop down is for your pitchers, so you can see strikeouts, pitching outs, wins, hits allowed, walks, and earned runs over their last 7 starts. So whatever drop down you pick is going to show it kind of over here along with all the other stats. And then the drop down stat for the hitters is going to be here, and we have a lot more. We've got fantasy score, home runs, total bases, RBIs, runs. The HR RBI prop on DK is always popular, stolen bases and strikeouts. So you could kind of take a look at this. The color coding doesn't really line up though, because it's color coded for fantasy score. Like for example, if you want to look at home runs, we go up here to home runs. You can say, okay, where are the home runs coming from? So right here, Ryan McMahon, homer, 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 none, none. So he's probably due. He's been on fire. So this is just something you can kind of take a look at. So I built this, and it was okay. I didn't use it like I thought I would. So I went ahead and said, okay, let me just put this in the background, save that for later, and let me build this pitcher tab. And then with the pitcher tab, we have everything in there, but it's a lot easier to see everything side by side and compare the players together. So anyways, those are the updates for June 1. The sheet is posted today, so it's up. Play with it. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll keep the updates and the plays coming. Thanks, guys.